On February 8th, 2024, in Owasso, Oklahoma, 16-year-old non-binary child Nex Benedict died. The day prior, they and a transgender student were assaulted in a restroom by 3 students at Owasso High School. Between the attack and Benedict's death, they stated in a message released by their family, in response to being asked why they got attacked, quote, "They had been bullying me and my friends, and I got tired of it, so I poured some water on them, and all 3 came after me," end quote, and that the, quote, "school did not report to police," end quote. In other words, some bigots were acting hysterical, so Benedict tried to calm them by pouring water on them, and the bigots responded by physically assaulting Benedict and another person, which resulted in the death of Benedict, and the school administration did not call the police, and there is no evidence that they called for medical workers to aid the assaulted students. Leading up to Benedict's murder, an environment of hatred and discrimination towards LGBTQ people like Benedict existed in Oklahoma. In August 2023, Governor Kevin Stitt issued an executive order that defined men and women based on the sex assigned to a person at birth, and that state government-run facilities that segregate based on gender would use this standard. Prior to this, in May of that year, Stitt had narrowed the ability for transgender people to get gender-affirming care in Oklahoma. Additionally, in April 2022, Stitt refused to let non-binary people, such as Benedict, get birth certificates that acknowledged that civil group on it. The following month, he enacted a law that forced transgender and non-binary students to only use school restrooms that went with their sex, not their gender identity, causing Benedict to be put in a place where their colleagues assaulted them. In my opinion, the Oklahoma government's most significant act of queerphobia was in January 2024, less than a month before Benedict's murder, when they appointed fascist provocateur Chaya Raichik to an advisory role to the Oklahoma State Board of Education. Raichik's major thing is leading harassment campaigns against LGBTQ people, especially ones who work as teachers. Often, organizations targeted by Raichik are faced with threats of terrorism. Raichik's response was to celebrate this. In fact, Raichik targeted Benedict's school in 2022 after a teacher that Benedict liked told queer students that they are not wrong for being like that, if their parents hate them for being queer. Less than 2 weeks after Benedict's murder, Raichik stated that transgender people, which she likely includes non-binary people in, should have a genocide done to them. Additionally, Raichik stated that she was a victim, since people noticed rhetoric and actions like her own inspiring murders, such as what happened to Benedict. In fact, Raichik announced that she would be filing lawsuits due to people reporting facts that make her look bad. She said that the motivation for doing this was not that people saying she inspired Benedict's murder were defaming her or doing some other illegal act, but it is to silence them. I will note that Raichik said the latter comment in an interview with Josie Glaubach, who is a denier of the Holocaust, Nazi Germany's genocide of Jewish people and various other civil groups that killed about 11 million people. The reaction to Benedict's murder from some other people or groups on the United States right was conspiratorial or even celebratory. Self-hating gay man Chad Felix Green, a contributor to the far-right website Twitchy, stated that there was no evidence that Benedict was assaulted prior to their death, a claim pushed by Raichik. Storm Robinson, a reactionary activist that described queer people as a, quote, cult, end quote, and a, quote, social cancer, end quote, despite being a gay man himself, falsely claimed that Benedict had no interaction with the people who assaulted them prior to the attack and the attackers were defending themselves. The statement Benedict said in the video Robinson provided even contradicts what he said.
So they just up and decided to just start messing with you?
Yeah, because of the way that we dress.
Okay, so you didn't do anything at all at any point in time that would have, even a couple days ago or even a month ago or anything like that?
I don't know these girls.
Okay, all right. So they just continue to pick on you and pick on you. Then at some point you did what happened? They got up and confronted you in class, or or did you say it was the bathroom or the hallway?
Yeah.
Okay, the bathroom.
We were going to stack chairs, and after we stacked chairs, we went to the bathroom.
Okay.
And I was talking with my friends, they were talking with their friends, and we were laughing, and they had said something like, "Why do they laugh like that?" And they were talking about us in front of us. And so I went up there and I poured water on them. And then all 3 of them came at me.
Pouring the water. Because I'm trying to get this in my mind so I see, as best
I had a
can.
water bottle.
Thank you. That's exactly. Where did you get this water? Was it a cup you found? Was it your water bottle?
It's my
your daily water bottle you carry around.
I think it was a plastic water bottle.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so you squirted him with water, or threw water on, whatever it was. Okay. Then at that point, what happened?
They came at me. They grabbed onto my hair. I grabbed onto them. I threw one of them into a paper towel dispenser, and then they got my legs out from under me and got me on the ground, started beating the shit out of me.
Okay.
And then my friends tried to jump in and help, but I'm not sure. I blacked out.
In response to Robinson trying to justify Benedict's murder, Jennifer Say, an anti-vaccine activist that has a hateful obsession with transgender people, complained that people on the left acknowledged that Benedict was murdered for existing in a civil group that their murderers hated. Perhaps people like Robinson and Say have an issue with people noticing the motivation for Benedict's murder because the former two people support the view that was the motivation for the murder, and that makes them feel bad. In response to a question about the Oklahoma legislators' focus on LGBTQ people and Benedict's murder, State Senator Tom Woods said, quote, "We are going to keep that filth out of the state of Oklahoma," end quote. Additionally, State Superintendent Ryan Waters, who oversaw discrimination policies towards queer people in the state, complained that, quote, "radical leftists," end quote, were exploiting Benedict's death, an accusation he did not back up, and reiterated his hatred for LGBTQ people, specifically transgender and non-binary people. Unfortunately, for LGBTQ people in America, there are politicians like Stitt and Waters that use their offices to discriminate against queer people, and they have relatively strong support bases, meaning there is also an environment of bigotry being mainstream in their jurisdictions. The latter point means that people with a more extreme form of the bigotry, such as Raichik, have a larger amount of people they can appeal to and perhaps consequently inspire acts of violence, including murder. There are things that can be done by queer people and other people who support equal rights for them. They can protest at queerphobic events, support candidates or be a candidate for political office that support queer rights, or are even part of that civil group, and or attend gatherings of queer people to advocate for their equality. I will point out that doing any of these has the possibility of being attacked by reactionaries. Based on that, I recommend that people be prepared to defend themselves and or have armed security if they are organizing an event and or running in an election. Nex Benedict was a 16-year-old child that was assaulted and murdered just because they benignly existed in a way that other people could not handle. I greatly sympathize with Benedict's family and friends during this time. This video is presented by Try the World. Try the World offers food and beverages from various international sources at great prices. In the description and pinned comment for this video is a special link from me, Ryan Holman, to get 20% off of your first purchase at Try the World. I truly hope you like it.